Hi, my name's Kara Chafin, and I'm going to be going over emergency management theory. Does it exist, and what is it? So, theory versus practice. There's kind of a division in my mind of the practitioners that we see so obviously and what we think of as theory. So, many individuals go through trainings and apply basic knowledge of emergency management functions to disaster events. This knowledge and implementation plan is a form of basic emergency management theory, which we might not really think of it that way because we just see their actions and we just see that they're following kind of a plan. But plans and these kind of functions are based off theory. They're based off, as we'll see, principles and assumptions, etc. However, even beyond these basic theories, we have more complex theories looking into human behavior, social science, and disaster that are at play in emergency management. So yes, there's a theoretical basis for emergency management. For much of its history, the emergency management discipline has considered this specialized body of knowledge to be the skills relating to emergency response. The theoretical knowledge that forms the basis of emergency management lies not in these technical skills, but in social science research and a deeper understanding of the nature of disaster and the reaction of people and organizations to crisis. So again, this quote kind of hits back that when we look at a practitioner and we recognize that they're more qualified or we see them as valuable in times of crisis, it's because they're drawing on these theoretical bases that emergency management operates off of, not just because they have these trainings, etc., and these special skills. So, basic emergency management theory. Emergency management is defined as the managerial function charged with creating the framework within communities that reduce vulnerability to threats, hazards, and cope with disaster. So 8 principles of functional emergency management are that it's comprehensive, it's progressive, it's risk-driven, it's integrated, it's collaborative, it's coordinated, it's flexible, and it's professional. And to touch back on the 4th point, that it's integrated, we've heard throughout this semester and our readings that emergency management should be integrated, that it should take an all threats, all hazards approach to direction, control, and coordination of disasters, and that this supports whole community preparedness. So the assumptions that emergency management addresses are that threats and hazards always exist. Disasters have significant impacts on humans and the environment, and that successful emergency management depends on preparation, organization, and coordination, and that emergency management practices do work. And another part of this basic emergency management theory is that 4-tiered responsibility of emergency managers to help prepare communities, to mitigate damage and the effect of disasters, to respond, and to recover. So beyond those basic functions and very recognizable elements of emergency management theory, we have some more in-depth theories. These are our normative theories. These help establish generalizations and norms that managers can reference when they're building integrated management strategies preemptively before the disaster, going through those all hazards lists and deciding what disasters they need to be prepared for, how they can prepare for it, etc. Beyond that, substantive theories, this explains and predicts human behavior. So we can look at how are people going to respond if this disaster occurs? Why would people respond that way? And when we can look at why, we can come up with the best solution to help just recover from these issues. And as emergency managers, it's important to be familiar with management theory and to be able to implement that. And we use that when we plan out our incident command system structure and our chain of command so that we don't have to be creating these structures and systems loosely in the field or debating them. We just have some clarity. So to conclude, emergency management consists of those visible practitioners and also those people who study history, who study the nature of disaster, and effective management communication and normative human behavior. It's easy to look at our practitioners and think that they have some extremely just trained and personality traits that make them capable of operating under this procedural framework and step by step analyzing all of these components in the field. But they're not doing that out of thin air. It's not just their personality. It's these functions and response techniques that have been formulated based off of theory, off of practice, off of research,